Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Flameworking 102.82, a cane plunge. Today I have my cat with me, you guys. He's sitting right here. His name is Onyx. Say hi, there he is. He's adorable. He's my little buddy. We'll see if he sits here for us. So I have this demonstration today, and I am using a veiled cane to do some plunging with. And I was really inspired by all the beads that come out of Murano and Venice and Italy in general. And they have a very, very unique style and look to them. You can always recognize a Murano bead or a Venetian glass. Today I was inspired to do something that was reminiscent of a Murano bead. However, I'm not going to be using murrini just yet. I'm going to be using some veiled cane to plunge into some Murano-esque colors. And I call it the Murano Lights bead. And I hope you all enjoy this one. And I hope you enjoyed saying hi to Onyx. On that note, I hope you all are doing safe and well out there. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you all next time in the dungeon. All right, everybody, I'm going to start this one out with kind of a strange color, not really a Murano-esque color, I guess. But it is the uranium yellow, and it has kind of a greenish tint to it, and I thought it would be a really nice background instead of just a pure white. And I'm just going to start out with a little footprint bead there and get it nice and rounded out where I like it. And then I let that cool down a little bit before I start my next wrap right next to it. And I'm going to add a couple of wraps here and then maybe kind of draw this out just a little bit by wiggling and twisting it around my mandrel. And I think I add like maybe 4 or 5 wraps worth of glass here. This isn't really a huge bead. It's kind of on the medium size. And I'm going to roll it out and just shape it up to where I want to so I can put on the dichro. And I'm going to use a dichro strip, and it is just a transparent dichro. It doesn't have the black on the back, so you'll be able to see all the way through it to that pretty color at the bottom. And you can use any dichro that you want if you want to follow along with this demonstration. And when I use the dichro strip here, I will heat up the clear side of the dichro and get the bead a little tacky, and then very gently wrap the bead with the dichro side down. It does take a few minutes to wrap it up, but when it's done, then I can go ahead and start to heat and roll it out a little bit. And most of my heat is right in the center of the dichro strip, and I know that what's happening here is as I roll it down, it's widening and flattening up against that background color, but it's still, the edges of the dichro are still kind of raised up to the surface, if you know what I mean. So I want to spend a little time to coat all of that. And this is real similar to the Kenzan pattern that I did a couple weeks ago, the way I'm adding the color here. But because these are not translucent and they're more just transparent colors, it doesn't get the same blurry effect. So you'll see where each color kind of hits the next color, I guess. And all I'm doing here is just kind of filling it up with this light green, a little bit of the gold ruby, this aqua blue, and I'll use a little bit of topaz as well. I think it's a light topaz. Either way, I'm just going to add a little bit of color and swipe it here and there, and try to get these colors mixed in or added to the glass. I'm really creating like a whole nother layer of the glass, just like I did with the Kenzan pattern bead. And then when I'm done filling that up with color, I can go ahead and start to heat it up and melt everything in. My window's open, so you might be hearing some cars in the background. So I want to melt all of this down before I move forward. And I can just heat everything up and roll it a little bit and just start to smooth it down. And I do like to take my time when I do this. I don't like to just give it one really big heat and then all of a sudden expect it to melt in. I kind of like to coax the glass a little bit. And on the edges, I will just heat a little bit of the transparent on top and pull the transparent a little bit closer in to that mandrel end. And I'll do this on both sides. You could always, when you're adding this color, you could always add it a little closer to the mandrel as well. There's no rules to this bead. All right, so at this point, now that I have those edges in, I still need to smooth everything out and get back into like a nice shape. And this will take me a few minutes to do this. Sometimes the transparent colors can be a little stiffer, interestingly enough, than the opaque colors. And I'm just going to kind of pull those sides in a little bit. Make sure everything looks nice before I move forward. Now, at this point, once everything is nice and smooth, I want to give it a coating of clear. Depending on how many layers of clear you have, you'll get a different effect when it comes to plunging the colors in there. Anyway, here's what I have so far. It looks really nice. I love the way that the background looks with that dichro showing through all the different colors. And now that everything is smooth and kind of cool, I can go ahead and do my encasement. You don't have to necessarily do this type of encasement here. You can do a dot encasement by adding large dots of clear or small dots of clear all around the piece as well. And you can also use a lighter transparent color too if you want. Either way, I'm going to heat up my sides a little bit and shape them up with my butter knife when I'm done. And then, you know, the whole melting down of everything is going to happen here. So I'm just going to roll it on my marvering pad there to smooth out the clear glass, you know, the bumpiness of the clear on top. And it'll just get me there a little faster by rolling it and kind of smoothing everything out in between heating. Now you see I have a whole bunch of different canes over there to the right, and they are just a whole bunch of veiled canes that I picked out of my huge box of stringers and canes. And I picked each one specifically for their jewel tone colors, and of course that they are veiled, so it's a transparent color over white usually. All right, so I am going to start out. This is a transparent aqua blue over, I think, a blue, like a sky blue background. I don't think it's white inside. So what I'm going to do is heat up a specific spot on the cane where I want to plunge, on the bead where I want to plunge the cane into. And because I'm using blue here, I'm adding it to areas that are not blue. And then I'll do the same thing with every cane. The red cane, I'll make sure I'm adding it to areas that don't have the gold pink in it. I'll add it to like the topaz or the blue or just a different color. And I am going to continue to plunge all of this cane in. It's so easy. You could do a plunge and twist here if you would like, but I opted for just the plunge and a break. So I guess it's plunge and break is what we would call it. The important thing here is to get a really nice spot hot and then push the cold cane as far down into it as the glass will allow you. Give it a second to cool down. Sometimes I'll blow on it a little bit and then just break the cane off. It should come right off. And I'm just going to fill this thing up. This probably took me a good 10 minutes of this bead. This took me more time than making the bead itself, is to do all the plunging here. But I thought it was so pretty, and you know, I kind of felt like in the end, as I was looking at the finished bead, they kind of reminded me of little tiny lights, little colorful lights. And I thought about like how in Venice or on Murano, it's such a beautiful nightlife there, full of the glass and the colors. And no, I've never been there, but I'm just assuming in my head, I'm just imagining what it would be like to visit Italy. All right, so now that we have plunged all of this cane in there, all we have to do is melt everything down. Now, at this point, you have some options. You can melt it all down and then add clear on top, or not add clear on top. But I do want to add clear on top of each one of these little cane plunges. And I don't round everything out first. But because I don't round everything out first, I am also going to be trapping little tiny bubbles on the tips of these, or at least on some of them I noticed. Not all of them have a little bubble on top. I don't mind the bubbles at all. I always kind of think they actually add some interest to your glass. But if you don't want bubbles, then you want to make sure that this is more melted in than what I have here. And then you can add your clear, and that will further push these little lights or the cane down into the bead and look like they're just suspended in the bead. I just love the way it looks. So I'm just going to spend the rest of my time here adding a little bit of clear to each one of those spots. And when we're done, it's just a matter of gently heating everything up and smoothing it all out. And of course, you can add more pattern on top of this one, but I honestly thought that there was plenty going on here. And at this point, I love the way it heats up and you can kind of see all the colors. I love the way the glass looks when it's hot, you guys. It's so cool. All right, so I'm just going to finish up by just smoothing out my shape with the butter knife. And then I'll just give it a couple more heats and flashes until I'm happy with what I have. And then I will put it away. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's been a while since I've done any of these plunging beads. So I hope you enjoyed this one and are inspired to, make some plunged beads. Thanks again for watching, you guys. I hope to see you all next time in the dungeon.